Hey, this is Knife Standards. Today I'm going to be doing just a quick full review. This shouldn't be that long of a video. And I'm going to be doing my full review of the Tactical Pterodactyl mid-size camper fixed blade. Whew, that was a mouthful. But before we get into that, this is a ridiculously good-looking fixed blade. Before we get into that, please follow me at Knife Standards. You can follow me on Instagram. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for a lot more knife content and weekly knife reviews. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and get that out of the way. And let's talk about Tactical Pterodactyl. If you have not heard of that knife company, it is a company, but it's one guy, from what I understand. One kind of small batch, by hand, custom fixed blade maker. And he does a damn good job of making fixed blades. He does all different variations, different blade shapes, different sizes, and he does a drop, I think it's every month. I think he does one drop of knives every month. So that's what he's working on. I don't know. I think there are more campers coming. It should be soon. It should be this month, in the next week, maybe. This is March right now, so I think there are more of these coming. I'm not sure if they're mid-size or not. I am looking for a tiny camper. I don't know if is it a small camper. I don't know, but it's basically this, but even smaller. I think this is about a 3-inch blade. We'll go ahead and measure it, but the tiny one is even smaller, maybe 2 inches or 2.5 on the blade. It's more like a neck knife. Anyway, I need one of those. So if anyone knows or has one, wants to sell it, let me know. But let's go ahead and talk about this knife. First thing that you guys should know is, for a fixed blade, which again is not my thing. I do have a handful of fixed blades now. A few that I have come to really enjoy. But for a fixed blade, it's really excellent. This is a really great little, EDC sized, EDC friendly, carry friendly fixed blade. So this is a pretty positive review. I like this thing a lot. I want another one in a smaller size. Just for, my uses, I don't think I need a larger one of these, a large camper, or even his other blade shapes. He does make a kind of like a cleaver tanto style one, which I thought was pretty cool, but I forget what the name of it is, but he has different names for all of them. Anyway, this is a pretty cool knife. It's a pretty solid design. He's a great maker, so there are not that many downsides. So real quick, I'm just going to go through a few of the downsides, and then we'll go ahead and talk about everything that is great about this knife. One downside is the sheath. Kydex sheath. It came with a did it come with like a belt loop? I think so. Did I make that up? I forget. It came with some it must have come with something. Anyway, whatever it was, I didn't like it. So I put on the Spyderco, I think it's the G clip they call it. So this I can just kind of clip onto my pocket, which works out really well. But whatever it came with originally, I was not a huge fan of. Also, it's just a little bit, retention is great, but it's just a little bit awkward, because I want to put my hand here. There's this space, there's this cutout for the handle to get my fingers in here. So I want to like hold on as I try and push the blade out. I mean, it works. Like it does its thing. It's just for me, it's just a little awkward, especially when it's on my belt or kind of clipped into my pocket. It's just a little awkward. Retention again is great. It's a nice sheath, very basic. But this extra cutout, it's not really for me necessarily. So we'll go ahead and put the sheath aside. Another tiny downside, one of the things that I look for with fixed blades, especially custom handmade fixed blades, or customs in general, is I look for any sharp edges. Anything sharp that's going to poke me that I don't want to be poked by. And there are on the edge. Now this is compared to my nickel knives, EDC fixed blade, which is It's a fantastic knife, but it came with some pretty sharp spots on it, which I took care of with a little ceramic file. But compared, if I compare this to the nickel knives EDC fixed blade, this is smooth and rounded and really comfortable. But having said that, there are a couple sharp edges towards the lanyard hole. And I think it's actually the G10 that is a little bit pokey. Nothing that bothers me in hand. Like when I grip it, ergos are good. I do feel, yeah, it's the top corner. It's not that bad, but this definitely is a little bit sharp for me, for my hands. Jimping is aggressive, but it feels great for me. Let's just go ahead and talk about ergos while we're on that. I'm trying to think of, there was one more tiny downside, and no, maybe that was it. Ergos are solid. So I think it was just this little pokey corner, and the sheath I'm not a huge fan of, but I like the finish of this blade. It's kind of this like dark acid wash. The grind lines look fantastic. Here's the little Pterodactyl logo, I guess lasered in there, stamped in there. Oh yeah, so the last thing, which is just a little critique, little downside for me. I love to see, especially when I have too many damn knives, I love to see the blade steel somewhere on the blade. It doesn't have to be a big stamp, just a little reminder of what blade steel it is, because sometimes it's hard to keep track of what I'm using, what I'm working with, if it's M390 or is it 20 CV, anyway, this is crew wear, but it would just be, I think, a big step in the right direction, especially because of how many variants and different blade shapes, and I don't know how he keeps track of everything. So it would be great, especially if I get another one of these, to just have a little, CRU, crew, or something, crew wear, just anything to differentiate this, so I know what kind of steel it is. Luckily, I don't have that many fixed blades, and this is, it's very much my style as far as the blue goes. So I'll remember it's crew wear, but it would be nice if it said so. So those are my downsides. I know, nothing major. This is just a solid fixed blade. Let's go ahead and do a size comparison. I don't know where my other fixed blade is, or my other fixed blades, I should say, but we will go ahead and get two trusty blue knives to kind of color coordinate. I got my Varga Knives VBR, and I also have my little stubby Boker sub Kalashnikov. Yeah, I'll go ahead and organize them like that. As you can see, I enjoy this color scheme. Where is my, okay, so let's get these measured up. I think the Boker is just under, yeah, this is just under 2 inches, and then about 4 3/4 maybe. Let's go ahead and check out the VBR. Again, I think this is 3.5. You guys should know that already, and 8 overall. And then the mid-size camper got about 3 inches of total blade length, but only about 2.5 of actual cutting length, and then about 6 1/4 overall length. So this is definitely, I would consider this, just at the end of small size knives, like my sizing category, and almost, still in that EDC friendly size category, but just starting to get into almost into this medium category. And it's a very scientific process, my sizing, but it's very easy to carry. It would be nice to have a better, if you guys know of a better clip, I like to clip my fixed blades into my pocket. I don't rock the belt loop, or I don't wear belts. So, yeah, sometimes it's a little bit tricky. But anyway, if you guys have any recommendations, let me know. Really easy to carry, great medium sized fixed blade. Of course, the Boker is super tiny. Only get about 3 fingers on this guy. I'll go ahead and put that away. And then, of course, the VBR is a large knife. Man, after holding the fixed blade, this thing is so light. VBR is so light. It's crazy. Anyway, definitely in the large size category. So a couple specs, which I kind of skipped over. You know, I usually kind of go in a specific order with my reviews, but I thought I'd change it up today. The edge came, you know, pretty, it's not the stickiest, sharpest edge I've ever experienced from a maker or from, you know, a producer, but edge was good from Tactical Pterodactyl. The G10 feels fine. I love the color. Obviously, that's why I got this configuration. Crewware, this is actually my first crewware knife. It's held up really well. No complaints there. I've heard great things about crewware, and that was what kind of sold me on the blade steel. I love this design, the mid-size camper. If there was a smaller one, which there is, if it came out, I mean, if he did a batch of those, I would definitely get it. And of course, the blue G10 just sealed the deal. There is this little, you can see the rock pattern. So I'm assuming he does that by hand. I'm assuming all this is done by hand. I think that's the deal. Of course, USA made, with all the controversy going on lately. USA made, amazing, right? And which again, I don't discriminate between where things are made. If it's a good knife, it's a good knife. But certain price tags come along with certain countries of origin for certain materials. So that's where it gets a little sketchy. But anyway, that's not what this video is about. Let's go ahead and keep it focused on the knife. There's this little kind of divot, which at first it didn't really line up with my hand as far as ergos go, but I kind of got used to it. When I carried this knife, you can kind of pinch here, which is fine, or you can choke up and just get the tip of your finger in there. So it does work. It wasn't where my hand, you know, normally naturally lands, but I made a quick adjustment. Definitely the most comfortable grip for me is this kind of choked up, getting my thumb to land on the jimping, which is a little bit higher on the spine, and then putting my finger right into that groove, and it kind of locks in. It's pretty comfortable. You know, another thing is it's very thin, and the G10 it's G10. It's not the most, you know, if you have soft hands, you're not going to enjoy this. Luckily, my hands are not that soft. So I just feel like if I was using this all day, my hand would get torn up. And I mean, you know, if you're using a knife all day, it happens. I did not use this all day, so luckily my hands are in decent shape. But it's just a little bit, I don't think this is meant for my point is, I don't think this is meant, the design and the fit and finish, I don't think this is meant for some beastly hard use all day kind of go-to work knife. Although it could be, definitely could be used for that. But it doesn't feel like that to me. So what do we got? We got ergos. It's carried fine in my pocket. Of course, the sheath is not my favorite. I would like to see this say crewware. The G10 feels fine. I love the grind lines. Really nice. You know? It's a flat grind. Saber grind, flat grind. It almost feels hollow, but no, I'm gonna go with flat. Anyway, I love the grind lines. I love the blade finish. Usually I am not a huge fan of this kind of dark acid washed blade finish, but it looks great here. Sharpening Toil looks good to me. I have not sharpened this knife. What do you guys think of this? I think it's a pretty damn cool little fixed blade. Again, this is not the longest review. I went over the few minor downsides. I like that this is in my collection, you know, that I have the option for if I need an EDC fixed blade, if I need something just to kind of go to, if I'm hiking, if I'm camping, just anything where I would need something like this, where I'm not afraid to use it and abuse it, and it's not gonna show any marks on the blade because of this finish. This is definitely like a EDC user. I mean, for me, I just have to be aware that It's a little bit thin. It's a little bit pokey. You know, I don't really want to tear up my hands and use this all day, but for a night, you know, a hike or camping, I think this would be awesome. I think that just about wraps it up. Quick little review on this guy. Crew wear mid-size camper by Tactical Pterodactyl. For me, excellent for a hike or camping. I don't know if I want to use this all day, but the fit and the finish for, you know, for a handmade knife, I would consider this a custom knife. He does it, you know, small batch, boutique, custom by hand. I think this thing is great. Hope you guys enjoyed this little review. I was gonna say it's a short review, but it's not even that short anymore. I have a lot more knife videos coming your way, so definitely stay tuned. This has been Knife Standards. I'll catch you later.